close game for you guys at Cal State LA. Unfortunately, the win streak ends, but tell me a little bit about the game and what your thoughts are.
We got off to a great start. Our first half, we were hitting on all cylinders, shooting the ball well, running, getting the game up tempo. Got ourselves a nice lead going into halftime. Great momentum. Out of halftime, they made an adjustment, came out in the zone and stymied us a little bit. And from that point on, our mental toughness and our lack of effort defensively put us in our heels. But put ourselves back on our heels, and they came steamrolling our direction. And we would have had a little more time. We could have come back and even things up there just with a few seconds left in the game, but that wasn't the case.
Tell me a little bit about Calvin's career night game.
Calvin played terrific. He was definitely a force inside. Defensive presence was there. Great hustle, great intimidation as far as defensively. Offensively, he really got some things going, some dunks, and had a great night, had a career night, and it was great to see him compete so well and on the road as well. And it was off the bench, so he did a great job all around. We certainly feel great about that going into this weekend against a very capable team, Chico State. So with Calvin playing well and Nikhil shooting the ball, and Tyrus might have taken the night off, him back in action this weekend, we certainly have a lot of weapons with Malik Morgan running the show.
That leads me right into my next question. What does it say about this team that you have so many players that can contribute in so many big ways on any given night?
It's the 40 minutes, and it's playing together for 40 minutes and being able to sustain that and understand sharing the ball is the utmost importance, and then defensively really honing in on being aware and alert of what's happening all the time, whether it's transition defense or when we really need to knuckle down and play a half-court possession defensively and get a stop.
Big game coming up this Friday against Chico. First part of a back-to-back. Tell me a little bit about that match.
Well, it's Chico State, and that's our rival. And playing this early, conference game on the road is difficult enough, let alone a Chico State rivalry game. Our guys understand that rivalry, and if not, we'll make sure they understand by Friday night at tip-off that what this means is more than just a game. It's not just a CC2A conference game. It's not just a game on the road in December. It's a big deal, and we want to be able to be prepared and come out and compete and do our best. And I believe our best is good enough to win on the road a conference game in December against a rivalry like Chico State.
What about your matchup the following night against Stanislaus?
Yeah, that's one game at a time, and it's a difficult task to be able to play Friday night in probably a huge crowd, a sold-out crowd we're anticipating there at Chico State, and under that kind of condition, and then have to get in the vans and travel down to Cal State Stanislaus, which is three and a half hours away, and play the next day, in less than 24 hours. Not an easy task for anybody in the conference, especially ourselves having come from Humboldt. And we'll be ready, but it is just focusing on Chico State, and then we'll wake up and smell the roses on Saturday morning and see where that takes us.
I think my last question, I want to jump back to last week and talk a little bit about Tyrus. Big week that he had getting Player of the Week. I wanted to do Athlete of the Week on him last week, but that wasn't my decision, so above my pay grade. Tell me a little bit about Tyrus and the season he's been having so far.
Well, it's your guys' fault, making him the hero. Maybe too much media, because he had a great week previous, and then he didn't have great numbers. He still competed, and just didn't have his best night in Cal State Los Angeles. So we look for him to rebound and come back and be able to perform at a high level like he has every game of the season, other than this past one down in Southern California.
Did it surprise you at all seeing him pick up Player of the Week last week?
No, it was well deserved. We got ourselves a couple wins. That's obviously a big criteria, I would think, with that committee. And just knocking at the door every week, and then all of a sudden, I'm sure he deserved every bit of that. And I suspect we have quite a few players on our roster that would be candidates, and hopefully in the near future.
Awesome, perfect.
Just a couple quick questions for you, Coach. I mean, ball distribution and being able to set up plays for your shooters is such a big part of the Jacks. Talk to me about how everybody's been kind of contributing, especially in terms of assist numbers, and you can kind of see that when you look back at that LA game.
Yeah, assist basketball is what we try to teach and preach and learn and go out and perform each night. That we think that's winning basketball. It's warrior basketball. You know, it's something that it's fun to watch as a fan. It's certainly great to be a teammate when you're not got one pass, but the extra pass, the hockey assist, which we keep track of here in our program. So being able to play that way certainly is very difficult to defend, and we want to keep our opponent, you know, off base on that and be able to make those extra passes and find our open shots and distribute the ball, because we do believe we have quite a few guys who can score it.
You and I talked a little bit this week about having leads throughout games, every game this season, and then seeing those leads kind of slip away, whether it's switch to zone or whether it's maybe some shooting that just didn't go your way. What do you need to do to really get that full 40 minutes, whether it be on the defense or offensive end?
The opponent should let us get up 20. You know, that's a great remedy for them. Let us get up by 20, and then we'll get complacent, and they'll come back and beat us in the end, like Cal State LA. We're a victim of our own style. You know, we're a fast-paced shoot transition and open shots. They may not look like good shots, but for us, an open shot is a good shot. We let them take those shots, and so when you do get that lead, the value of the possession becomes a question mark on how we're going to do that. We'll look at film and we'll hone them in a little bit, and we'll learn from our loss, but we also need to learn from our wins. With those wins that we've had large margins evaporate, we need to take a look at those possessions as well.
Chico State coming up on Friday. I mean, you really need to say more to get pumped up for a game. I mean, but what does it mean for your team to go out there and have a great performance at the start of this quick turnaround road trip?
Yeah, well, I mean, the Chico State game, I mean, if our guys aren't fired up for that one, then they don't have a pulse. You know, they'll be fired up, they'll be ready to go, and being able to compete. And we need to go deep. It's going to be an environment that is obviously emotionally exhausting too. You know, it's going to be a real college atmosphere, and our guys will be ready from the get-go. And so I need to keep them fresh throughout, run them in and out, and I think that's going to be important. But certainly not trying to pace ourselves for the next night. We just don't do that here at Humboldt. We're going to go all in with our chips on Friday night to win that game, and we'll see when we wake up Saturday morning where we stand and how many bodies we have and how many limbs we have left over to see what we can do at Cal State Stanislaus.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.